What's good, YouTube? It's your boy JL, you dig? He who ascends, and we live, baby. Straight to a gang with another reaction video. This one is Andrew Tate reaction video. The polarizing internet sensation. This video is titled "They Want You to Stay Poor." Let's get straight into it.
When I talk about the Matrix, I'm talking about the systems which have been created by society, which are deliberately designed to enslave. In the movie, the Matrix were used for our body heat, but here in this Matrix, we're used for our efforts and our energies. And you're existing inside of a system which is deliberately rigged to make the rich richer and for the poor to stay poor. You can sit there and get upset about it. You can sit there and cry about it and say the system needs to change, which is what some people do, socialists, XYZ. But I think that's, I know that's a waste of time, right? That's futile. The best thing to do is to understand the rules of the game and find a way to win. So yes, the game is rigged. Yes, the rich are always going to get richer. Yes, the poor are always going to struggle. And that's the way the game is set up. So you still need to find the best move on the chessboard. There's no point sitting there saying, I want to play a different game, because that's never going to happen. Because the people with the money are the people who have the control and they have the power. And why would they have the game set up any other way? Why would they change it? It's all
like, why would they set up the game so that everybody can have bread? Like, that don't even make no sense. If you're playing a game, you're strategically moving pieces, you're employing strategy in order so that you win. If the goal of the game is so that you win, you're not gonna play so that you and your partner win. That's a fact.
Also the basic of economics. I think a lot of people don't understand the true basics of economics, and the basics of economics state that even giving money to the poor, it ends up back in the hands of the rich. There's no way to stop the rich getting richer. I've already explained this before, but I remember when they did the stimulus checks and they passed out all this free money to everyone, in England they gave a lot more money, but in America everyone got like $1,400 each and everyone was happy about it, saying, oh, he's giving money to the poor. Yeah, but what do those poor people spend that money on? They Amazon stock tripled because they all went to Amazon. So Jeff Bezos got richer, right? But the fact is that there's less companies than there are people. All those $1,400 checks amongst all those people at the bottom ended up in the hands of a few companies, and the rich got richer, and you can't stop it. Doesn't matter if those people invested their money, doesn't matter if they bought stocks, doesn't matter if they bought a crypto, doesn't matter if they bought a house, whatever. The people who have the assets and have the companies and have the control are always going to end up getting control of the currency, and they're always going to be richer. So
that's OC. But it's facts. There are fewer businesses in the world than there are people. So think about it. The top businesses are providing supply for the bulk of the demand, for damn near all of the demand. So there's a small percentage of businesses that are supplying all the demand. We live in and when he's talking about economics 101, y'all really need to do some education, man, for real. Like, it's incumbent of you to know the world in which you live in, bruh. Like, there's such a thing as willful ignorance, like where you're actively not knowing when you could know. And that's to your own detriment. Ain't nobody else, especially as a man in this society. That's to your own detriment. You will die if you keep playing the game of being willfully blind. Open up your eyes, get some knowledge, learn something you ain't know before, and stop just consuming information that that doesn't build you up. Information that appeases, like sensualism. That stuff ain't helping you, bro. And another thing, so as far as economics goes, we live in a free market economy, right? So that's the type of economy that we're in. It's a free market economy, meaning that it's based off of supply and demand, free enterprise, consumerism. So that means that people can come into America, start a business, and the government doesn't own all of the assets and parcel out or give out to its citizens resource. There are countries and continents where the government owns everything, all art, all entertainment, everything that gets produced, how much of it gets allocated and distributed. Like, they run the nation. We live in a free market nation, meaning that if you learn, grow, and develop, and you have an idea that's marketable that you can introduce into the market, if you time it right, if you understand how to introduce and break a product into the marketplace, if you just get information and you have a product that the society wants, then you can make money. You can grow socially, you can grow economically, and your reputation can grow. So there's something very powerful to understand with that. As a result of that free market economy that we are in, by nature of how wealth is distributed, it's always funneled back up. This is even biblical for people who are versed in religious doctrine. The story of the talents, the guy who buried his talent, the guy who buried his one talent because he felt that he couldn't multiply it. Even what he had was taken away, and it was given to those who multiplied their talents. The guy who had 4 multiplied his. The guy who had 5 multiplied. The one who had 2 and multiplied his to 4, and the one who had 5 and multiplied his to 10. So, what's in your hands? That's a business. Doesn't matter how small it is. It's a business, and it can save you if you're willing to invest it. If you're willing to grow and develop, and become something greater than what you are right now. It's just how it works. So yeah, that's fire. Let's keep it pushing.
That's kind of how it works, and it's getting worse and worse. Yeah, and that's another thing about opportunities, right? Because you have to be positioned to take advantage of opportunity. It's like in chess, they say good moves come from good positions. It's true. You can't find a good move from a terrible position, right? If you're sitting at home with no money, it's hard to invest in Bitcoin at $1. It doesn't matter what it goes to, right? You got to be in a good position to take advantage of things. So you've always got to be in a position where you have a good network, you have good information, you have some kind of liquid money, you have the ability to survive without that money, you can take a risk. Like, it's hard to set yourself up. I'm in a position now.
That's why they say success is when preparation meets opportunity. Even if you're knowing a play, but you're not in a position to capitalize, it's actually infuriating. That joint can really break your spirit, because you're just like, damn, like, yeah, I saw this play coming, but I didn't have no bread to be able to put in or put up, right? It's like if your man's is like, yo, we got to play where, we finna make, 200,000, but everybody got to put up 10 bands, and all your mans got the money ready to go, and you don't, even though you knowing about an opportunity, you can't make the play, so be prepared. Save a little money. If y'all got, it don't matter what kind of job you having right now. Even if you're only making $50 a week, if you that down bad, bro, learn and discipline yourself. Save $10. Like, just $10 ain't gonna go nowhere. It's hard to do, but do it. At least attempt and fail, and then attempt again.
Where I'm in the NBA. I'm an NBA player. I can never go broke again. So it doesn't matter, right? Once you're in the NBA, I can throw $1 million at something. It doesn't matter if it works or not. It doesn't make a difference. And that's why it's so much easier. They always say the first million is the hardest, and they're completely right. Once you get to a certain point, you can gamble to a degree, right? I always knew that the Matrix existed, and I always knew that the traditional systems, I just knew. Even when I was going to school and they're sitting there going, you're not going to get a good job if you don't get good grades, I was the one sitting there going, you're a liar, shut up. I just knew the teacher was lying. I knew I knew college was bull. I knew university was a lie. I always knew it was a trick and a con. I didn't truly understand things to the level I understand them now, but I had an intrinsic understanding, and I think everybody does. If you're in a gas station and it's 3 a.m. and a Lambo pulls up and a guy gets out of it, you're thinking criminal, drug dealer, gangster. You're not thinking, he has a uni degree, because you're not going to think that. So when you see money, people don't even associate the money they see with university. But then they go, I want to make money, so I'm going to university. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So I think everybody knows that the system and the path they lay out for you is not a path that's going to lead to where you want to be. And I didn't know what the other path was, but that intrinsic distrust for the system and that distrust for the things they wanted me to do made
Yeah, man. Entrepreneurialism. I'm not going to say it's for everybody because not everybody is really wired that way. But what I will say is that if you're going to survive in this market, especially it's a free market economy that we live in, inflation is going up. The cost of living is going to go up as technology advances. As the rich get richer, it'll only put a greater pressure and tension on the bottom. So that's kind of like the economic conundrum there that we're having. But at the end of the day, you as an individual, you can't be, assuming or waiting for the government to come to be your rescue. Like you better wise up and figure out how you can begin to diversify your income. That's your problem to solve. That ain't the government's, bro.
Me search for other avenues, and then I found them, right? And if you speak to the people who are richest, if you speak to the people you know, this is for everyone at home as well, if you speak to the people you know who have the most money and go up to them and say, hey, what made you rich? None of them say school. Do any of them say school made me rich? I got an A in GCSE. Like, who gives a shit? It's right? It's all indoctrination. So I knew it was indoctrination, and for that reason, I was always searching. And if you're searching, you're going to find. They teach you things that, the problem is as well, it's difficult because the way that humans work and the way that we've evolved as a species is that we don't really learn lessons unless they're learned the hard way.
Just like, man, I'm the same way, man. I was coming up, bro. I was not rocking with school. I felt like it was a rigged system from the jump, you dig? And on top of that, I was born in the 90s. So schools didn't even adequately have any means of being able to teach kids according to their learning style. They were, school is I think it has its roots in some Germanic or Russian type of ideology where they're trying to produce employees for real. How do you create a worker and you institutionalize them? So I wasn't rocking with it. As a kid, I was always a nonconformist. So shout out to my nonconformists on this channel. You dig what I'm saying? People who trying to pave their own way. Folks who are looking, for wisdom that's not coming from the mouth of another, but they're really dealing with that to arrive at their own thoughts and genuinely having and being their own person. You dig what I'm saying?
I believe that unless a lesson is taught the hard way, you're not going to learn it. You can have so many near misses and people won't learn their lesson. Bro, you must know a guy who goes out there, nearly crashes his car, doesn't slow his down till he wrecks it. Like, this is how people are, right? So you need that pain for the lesson to sting enough to really genuinely go inside of your mind. And it's the same with everything. It's the same with driving a car or business. Truthfully, if you want to learn a lesson about business, you're going to have to suffer at some point, right? So we always say that most people are not successful with their first companies, X, Y, Z, blah, blah.
Man, unfortunately, that's a OC truth because there's something called like this positive negative ratio quotient. Like if you're in a relationship with somebody, it's a ratio of 5-1. Every negative interaction y'all have, you're going to need 5 positive reactions in order to rewrite that negative. If you have too many negative interactions, that relationship will crumble quite rapidly. And that's also too conversely as well. If you have too many positive interactions, like anything above, I would say like 11 and up, and that's just what it is. What will happen is that'll also to have a deteriorating effect on that relationship as well. And that's heavily one of the reasons why girls don't like nice guys, is because they're predictable. The woman's already able to predict that she will be able to usurp that man in every single way, that the man is agreeable, which is not typical of men, from a psychological dispositional standpoint. Most men have a greater tilt towards being disagreeable. So that means to be able to negotiate on your behalf, to be more assertive, things of that nature, higher in aggression as well. So that's what it means to be a man. Now, how you incorporate that that disagreeableness such that you can be a functioning male in society and still have power and dominance and hold your posture. That's the way that's what they call maturation, right? The process of maturing from going of one state of evolution to your highest state of evolution. Now, men who are highly agreeable and, you know, don't like confrontation, and they're very amicable. And the ones that are super duper agreeable will always be exploited. And that's what, and that niceness is not really niceness. It's more so something else. It's cowardice to me. You ain't nice. You a coward, and you don't got any fangs. And you trying to be diplomatic in every situation when life has already shown us that it ain't that way, bruh. Fire and ice, good and evil. We have duplicity built into the system already. You know, girls don't like nice. You feel what I'm saying? So if you nice, it's predictable, and she knows that there isn't going to be, and it's like, well, that speaks to like, can this guy protect me? Can this, that, and the third? And then that relationship doesn't really grow because it's predictable. It'll probably be that way forever. And in life, you need friction, bro. Even a diamond don't have, if it like, a diamond is what it is in its raw form. It's still valuable. But we're talking about cut, VVS, you know, clarity and things of that nature. You dig? It's like that the grade of the diamond itself, it has to be cut. You know, even gold has to go into incredible high temperatures of heat, you know, even to the point melting, boiling, in order for the impurity in that gold itself to be etched out, you know, to be expelled out of that gold, so that it could be in its purest form and grade. So what makes you think that you're going to develop in life with no friction? You dig? So in a relationship, that's really why girls don't like nice guys, is because there's no friction. A girl needs friction, not because she likes drama per se. There are some certain chicks who like that, but it's really because a relationship don't grow and develop. It's a real relationship is not even real if it don't have no friction in it, I would say, because life itself proves that, like, there's friction, tension, and chaos everywhere, you know. And matter of fact, people who have bubble wrapped lives, we don't even fuck with, because it's like you ain't gone through anything that's real. Like, you know what I'm saying? You've lived a life that's so alien, that's so like, that's a fraction of what the overarching society experiences on a day-to-day basis, man.
Well, I get that. The truth is, there's a lot of people who make a lot of money with their first company, but they just act an idiot, and it all blows up in their face. And that's how you get the discipline on your fourth company, that when you have $3 million in the bank, you just leave it there. You know, and don't be done with it. So you need to go through some pain. You need to experience some negative things. You need to have, to a degree, some trauma to really even learn any lessons. So yeah, business studies, you're right. The book, that's not going to teach you anything about business. You need to get out there on the streets. You need to make mistakes. You need to suffer. You need to have the tax man knocking at your door. You got to deal with all that stuff so that you make sure it doesn't happen again. I really think that humans are stupid enough to only learn the hard way. That's kind of how it works. When I was broke, I knew exactly how much money I had. I had 117 pound in the NatWest, and that was it. I'm poor, rent's paid, I ain't got nothing else. When I was broke, I knew exactly how much I had. But now I'm at a point where it gets really difficult to truly measure how much money I have, because you have cash. Okay, that's easy. I have some crypto, which is constantly fluctuating. And then you have assets, and the price of the assets is constantly fluctuating. And then I have companies and income streams, which need to be valued. And how do you value them, right? They can be an 8 times multiplier in some circumstances, and others they'll be a 10 times multiplier. So it's really difficult for me to put a value on it. If you were to say to me, how much money do I have in the bank? Once you have a healthy respect for money, once you get past a certain amount of money, you don't need it in the bank. Like, there's no point in me having 50M liquid in the bank. Why? What am I going to buy? You know, you're like, as long as you have whatever you have in the bank to run around the world with, you have enough. So you try and put that money to use, right? You buy assets, XYZ. So it's really difficult. Yeah, and that's the thing about the way I talk and the things I say. Some people find it inspirational, and some people are upset by it, and their ego prevents them from learning from it. The kind of people who are really genuinely upset by what I say are the kind of people who can't truly learn anything and become successful in life. I obviously know what I'm talking about to some degree, right? So if Mike Tyson walks in here and tells you he's going to teach you how to box and says you can't fight, you're a pussy, if that upsets you, then you can't learn, right? It's Mike Tyson. Just shut up and listen. If someone Richard and me comes along and says, Andrew, you don't know shit, you're a dumbass and you're a brokey, I'm going to sit there and go, okay, maybe I'm a brokey, Elon. Tell me something. Right? I'll listen. But if you're going to sit there and go, don't call me names and not listen, you're never going to get anywhere, right? You don't become the master unless you're very, very good at being a student. And I've always been very, very good at knowing when to shut up. I am absolutely and utterly a believer in hard work. I'm a proponent of hard work. I have all this money and all I do is work. My entire life is work. Once you get to a certain level of incomes and wealth, everything becomes free. And that's what I'm like now. I don't know the price of anything I eat or buy. If it's not a house or a car, even most supercars, G. I don't even know. This podcast is work. I'm getting in the car. I'm going to another meeting. Work. People who are in charge of the world don't care about anyone but themselves. They don't care about you, whether you're gay or straight. They're not interested. What they're interested in doing is controlling the minds of people and affecting the way people operate in a way which is beneficial to them. And life really doesn't have to be that complicated. When you see somebody that has something you want, you just got to try and work out how they got it. And that's the missing part. Most people see people with things they want and they don't do the second half. They don't try and work out how they got that thing. Oh, my man has a Ferrari. Okay. I wish I had a Ferrari. Okay. They don't sit there and go for an hour. How did he get a Ferrari? It doesn't cross that part is the part they don't want to do, right? They just go, oh, he has a Ferrari. Wish I had a Ferrari. And they go back to TV. And that's why they lose.
Yeah. No cap. And not even with that Ferrari analogies, because they don't believe they'll ever truly have it. Like, I'm not even finna ask or inquire about anything I don't genuinely feel like one I'm ever gonna have for real. If I disassociate myself so to ever have 50,000 or ever have 100,000, you know, because people look at what they have and they despise it. So you're looking at where you're at and you're saying there isn't anything about where I'm at or what I have that would ever take me to that level where I got that kind of money. You're dumb as shit. I'm so sorry. Not sorry. And the reason why I say that is because, like, how the hell did we get here? You know what I'm saying? What you thought there was just all the raw material? We had all the material in raw form. The folks had to transmute that material in raw form and make something substantial. You dig what I'm saying? Our ancestors, God rest their souls, you know, the ones who stayed on the boat. Right. And whether it was fear that motivated them because they were too afraid to die don't matter. But God rest their soul and respect to them, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. The ones that stayed on the boat. You dig what I'm saying? Had all of them thrown out themselves on the boat, man, that a whole generation, a whole race of people done finito right there. The slaves that stayed on the boat and was on them fields had learned ways of making making their work easier, more efficient, streamlining the process. How can we take this workflow and streamline it to the point where we're even able to produce more at a quicker in less time? So they ended up creating inventions to help them do what they was doing under oppression. That's creativity. You create, your mind will begin to stretch under tension. When you go to the gym, you are putting tension on your muscles and they're tearing, micro tears. So the idea of growth is not to break yourself to the point where you can't recover. The idea is to break yourself in ways that don't shatter your psyche and put yourself under palpable degrees of tension. And sometimes we don't get to determine that. But what don't kill you make you stronger. And that's a real proverb. So extrapolate all of the wisdoms you can get from the things you go through. Dope video by Andrew Tate, yo. Y'all stay dangerous. Y'all wise up and become strong, man. You know what I'm saying? Peace, love, and purpose. We don't do no happiness around here. Straight to it, gang, because happiness is fleeting, man. Love y'all, man. Till next time.